Okay, I'm talking about fish. And I found this article from Greensboro.com from August 8th, 1996, at which point I hadn't moved to North Carolina yet. And it's about my friend Fish. And the title of it, Self-Taught Artist's Whimsical Works on View. And I'm just going to read it. There's more stuff online about this man, but you have to subscribe, like the Washington Post and stuff. When I only want to read one article, it just pisses me off. It's stupid. But anyways, 6-foot beings made of junk metal and found objects occupy the lower galleries of the Piedmont Arts Association, accompanied by other sculpture, paintings, drawings in FISH Clifton's exhibit, Out of This World Art. Clifton, 50, he's 79 now. 50 is a welder and self-taught artist from Ridgeway, Virginia. The Washington Post has called his work, quote, lively, quirky, thought-provoking, full of passion, energy, and produced by a natural talent who knows more about art than many artists with advanced degrees. Clifton's show is curated by someone named Robin Eiton, a fellow Ridgeway native and recent graduate of University of Virginia, where she used to be the director of the Art Space Gallery. And she first became aware of Clifton's work by driving past it. At least one of his works is always on display in his front yard. Clifton quit school in the 8th grade without ever taking an art class. His art is characterized by the inner vision of the outsider artist. He says his beings, his welded beings on the property, have come to study us, peacefully of course, from the planet Kimkerzak, a combination of his 3 children's names. And his show ran until August 28th of 1996, which is 40 years ago, isn't it? No, 30 years ago. Yeah, 30 years ago. Okay, very good. So, anyway, so we had this art show on our property, and Fish came out, and it's the same thing. I drove past his house, and I saw a big, huge Tyrannosaurus Rex made out of hundreds of pieces of metal that were welded together. And I was blown away. And made a mental note that I was going to come on back out there and talk to that man. I wanted to meet the person that made that. And the first time I went there, he was really friendly and gave me the full tour of everything there was to look at on his property there. And I mentioned to him, because this show I was going to do was coming up, whether he might like to ride out on his motorcycle and be a part of the show. His motorcycle is so impressive. I absolutely have to get pictures of it. And he did. Nice guy. And then after that show, you know, I was a dad with young kids and teenagers and all that going on. And we lost track of each other. We didn't remain in contact. And I learned today why, and I'll get to that later. And, you know, just kind of went in separate directions and went off and did life for, you know, 22 years or so. But yesterday, my wife said, hey, our friend Robin is having a birthday get together at her house out in Ridgeway and would like us to come. And I said, that'd be great. And so we planned to do that. And I decided to give her this one painting. It's basically a paint over of a velvet Elvis painting. And it has glow-in-the-dark elements, and it's not too huge, you know, it'll fit places. And Tina gave Robin a painting that had been done by our friend Yvonne Easton, and we met Robin through Yvonne Easton, and Yvonne Easton was a monumental artist and historian and just a dear friend of ours. Tina was the first person she called when she was having the stroke that killed her. And we miss her a lot. But anyways, and she was part of that show, I should say that. it was a really good time. So anyways, we're driving out to Robin's house today, and I can't wait to take a look at Fish's house, right? Because I haven't been past it in so long. And as it turns out, our friend lives just a little ways down the road past him out there. And Ridgeway, Virginia is very close to us. It's a 10-minute, 15-minute perhaps drive due west toward Route 220, and bang, you're there. Well, we're driving up the road. We take the turn on Old Leaksville Road in Ridgeway, Virginia, going up that hill, and there's his stuff. And I'm thinking, God, Lord, I hope he's still alive. And as we get up close, he's sitting on the porch. And I said, Tina, I'm going to stop and say hello to that man. And so I pulled into his driveway and got out and walked up and, reintroduced myself. And he said, oh, I remember you. And we sat there talking. And then it occurred to me that Tina's sitting in the car, probably wondering what's going on. So I went and said, come on up, honey. And he gave us another tour of his property, which has changed. The dinosaur moved because the tree next to it got hit by lightning. And he has this vehicle that he obtained that he's been painting on for a long time, and he took us down there and showed us the inside and out of it, and it's got all kinds of three-dimensional elements attached to it, and toys and reflective stuff and incredible hand, brushwork of flames and skulls and all sorts of other things out there. And Fish is walking with a big tall cane with red, white, and blue stripes on it, and he's looking kind of like Gandalf 1967. And it was just a wonderful little visit. Tina took a bunch of pictures, and what you're probably seeing right now is this continues along after I get the whole thing made. And I said to him, man, I'd love to come back out here and talk to you some more. He says, you come out anytime you want. And he explained to me that he really hates technology. He's never owned a cell phone. He doesn't have an answering machine. He still has a landline phone. And there's your outsider artist. He's outside of being able to be reached using anything current and digital. And I like that. I kind of trust Luddites. The advice of Luddites is good advice. And hey, look at that pear tree blooming out there. I might have got that a little earlier. Some of that nice white blooms. Yeah, so we had a really great visit today with Fish. And he's just a lovely guy. He's almost 80 years old. He has had and survived and apparently bounced way back from after having had a stroke. He told me I had a stroke a couple of years ago. And, I told him I've got a couple of really dear friends that have had the same thing happen in just the past couple of years. Like we're going to Strokesville in America. I sure hope it doesn't happen to me. And so anyways, there's a little bit of an introduction to, visually and things I remember about this really cool guy that likes to be called Fish. And, there's an article about him from 2015, I believe, that was in the Washington Post. And I found another one in the Martinsville Review, but of course they threw up the thing where you can't read it until you give them money. I read pretty quick. I was able to read about most of the first paragraph before the money thing jumped up. And but I'm feeling like, and I said this to Tina and to Robin when we were over there today. I said, something is just, I'm feeling this sort of unction, this push that maybe I should go out there and interview that man and do it properly. I've had a couple of really outstanding journalists talk to me about my art and music over the years, and I'm grateful for them. But the state of journalism is just a ragged pile of disappointment, mostly in 2025. And he needs to talk to somebody that can see behind the veil too, to understand where he's coming from, right? I want to know, after he dropped out of school, when did you become a welder and where? And at what point did you realize that that could be an artful thing rather than just a profession or a trade, a vocation? And I'd like to ask him about being a dad. He's got 3 kids. I got 3 kids, so we can dial right in there on that, and should be fun. But anyways, I'm not trying to make a real super long post today, but it was a wonderful day in a whole bunch of ways. That was just one of the ways that it was wonderful. And so probably the next time you hear anything about FISH Clifton is going to be after I can arrange to go out and, set with him and just ask him first if he would mind being interviewed. Apparently not, since people have done it in the past. We get along already. And maybe I can actually make a nice little biography of the man. And we'll put that up later. I even said to my wife, if it's good enough, I might ask NC Arts to give me some grant money and, do a proper short film about the guy next year, if we're still here. But anyways, God bless y'all. I really appreciate when people listen to my thoughts. Lord knows my wife has to listen to enough of it. I suppose this is a way of being merciful to her. I'm not here to fish for likes. I have very few subscribers. I see that sometimes something has been viewed by 80 people, but nobody said a thing and didn't like it either. And that's okay. That's okay. This chili's too hot. I can't eat it. Okay? Don't make it bad. It's not bad chili. It's just too hot. Anyways, have a wonderful, wonderful rest of this week. And next time I got something to say, I'll make another video. Peace.